nature, we can see this survival of the fittest. Very loosely, if I say, I see nearby my home in the animals that who are bigger or stronger or sharper, snatch the food from who are big. So not so stronger. So, and today we all are taught this, and we all have in the society this prevalent notion what Darwin argued, that survival of the fittest. So my question is, does this apply to human being also?
Yeah, there are two ways of responding to this. First is to ask yourself, right, what is naturally acceptable to you, to be in relationship or to be in opposition?
To be in relationship.
To be in relationship. So, in that case it is not natural for you to have this feeling of opposition, to fight, to struggle, right, for survival. So, this is one simple way, which is asking the question to the human being directly. In fact, interestingly, what we have been doing is that we have been studying the animals and we have been concluding about human beings, right. At some level human beings are similar to animals, but human beings are not animals. So, when we have to study human being, we have to study human being directly, right. You cannot conclude about the human being on the basis of animals, right. So, study that you will do on animal will be a study about the animals, right. So, when you are doing the study about human being, you have to study the human being, and that is why right from the beginning we said the very process of self verification, the very criterion of self verification is number one, ask your natural acceptance, right. What is naturally acceptable to you is right for you, is natural for you, that is it, right. If it is not naturally acceptable to you, it is not right for you or for some other order, but it is not right for you. So, this is one thing, right. And when it is right for you, then you have to verify in terms of your living accordingly, right. If it leads to mutual happiness in terms of your behavior with other human being, it is a right proposal, otherwise it is not a right proposal. Similarly, when you are working with rest of nature and it leads to mutual prosperity, then it is a right proposal, otherwise it is not a right proposal. So, the best way to find out what is natural, what is right for human being, what is not right for human being is to ask the human being directly what is natural to him, what is naturally acceptable to him. So, when I asked you what is naturally acceptable to you, to have a feeling of opposition or feeling of relationship, right. So, feeling of relationship, not opposition. So, that is one direct way of responding. Second is that this conclusion that there is a struggle for survival, right, and the one which is powerful will survive is also not a very kind of exact conclusion to draw, because when you look at the phenomena of the nature, you find that the units in nature and nature as a whole is in harmony, okay, and not in contradiction, right. So, for example, if you look at a grass and if you look at the tree is much taller than the grass, but are they coexisting? Yes. So, it is not that tree is more stronger than the grass, so it will eliminate the grass. So, it is not the survival of the fittest in that sense or survival of the strongest. Okay. We will see what is the meaning of fittest, that also has to be understood. So, this tree will not survive, it is not that tree will wipe out the grass. The tree is coexisting, the cliffs are coexisting, grass coexisting, all this is coexisting. So, there is coexistence, there is harmony, right. So, if you look at the nature overall, there is harmony, there is coexistence, there is mutual fulfillment, right. There are only few animals, okay, which you can see are predators. So, they are surviving on some other animal's body, but they are very few. If you look at the whole scheme of nature, okay, this number is very few, very small, okay. And even with this animals, if you look at them, you will find that this number of the number of these animals as compared to the one which is kind of eaten away by them is very small. So, if you look at the tiger, for example, in the forest, the number of tiger is much less than the number of deers and other animals. Number 2, if something has to extinct out of these two, which one will extinct first, the deer or the tiger?
Tiger.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, tiger will extinct first, right. So, all these issues have to be looked into. So, what is happening is that if you look at it at a very short span, it appears that the tiger is killing the deer, and therefore, there is a struggle for survival and there is a survival of the strong, right. If you look at the overall thing, look at a wide picture, then you will find that the deer are surviving, the tiger is surviving, the trees are surviving, and all these are in coexistence in a relationship of mutual fulfillment, right. For you, all these are there as information, okay. What you are going to pick up? The coexistence, the harmony, the mutual fulfillment, or one animal denying the other animal. What is going to be your understanding out of all this? That you have to decide. So, what we are saying is that if you look at the overall scheme of nature, it seems to be in harmony, it seems to be related to each other in a mutually fulfilling manner, right. In that broad span, somewhere in a short area, you see this one animal eating the another animal, right. But even there you see the balance, a balance is being maintained, right, between the the one who is eating and the one who is being eaten, okay. And if one of them has to extinct, right, the strong one will extinct first, right. So, in that sense you will see there is a overall there is harmony, there is coexistence, there is mutual fulfillment. And as I said, first thing that when you ask yourself what will be naturally acceptable to you, to be in relationship, to be in harmony, or to be in opposition, right. So, if you put them together, okay, you see that there is a natural unfolding of the nature, starting from the physical order to pranic order to animal order to human order, okay. And all this is in harmony, all this is in relationship of mutual fulfillment, and this is what is naturally acceptable to me as human being, right. So, what is naturally acceptable and what is there feasible in the nature is to be in relationship with human being, be in relationship of mutual fulfillment with every unit in nature, and that is very much possible. So, I keep taking this example that it is possible for me to ensure mutual fulfillment with the trees and plants, right. I can certainly plant far more number of trees that I would use in my lifetime. I do not have to deny trees or extinct trees, that is not necessary. We can exist and we can coexist in a nature in a way of mutual fulfillment. Yeah. So, what Darwin has done is that he has focused on this opposition part, not looked into the overall harmony and the coexistence and the mutual fulfillment, okay. And out of that he has concluded about this struggle going on, right, in the nature, and therefore made it as a rule for human being as well, which is not true,
What does this fittest mean? You said this is another question. So
yeah. So, fittest now, if you look at this in the light of this harmony in nature, the coexistence in nature, the mutual fulfillment in nature, fittest means which fits the best in this whole harmony, in this whole coexistence, right, in this whole synergy, that is the fittest. So, human being with right understanding and with right feeling will be the fittest, right. He will be able to ensure harmony within himself, he will be able to ensure harmony with other human being, and he will be able to ensure the harmony with all the units in nature, yeah. And he will not be in opposition with anything, right. So, he is not struggling for survival, survival is anyway ensured for every unit in nature. So, he is surviving with right understanding and right feeling, and with this survival, okay, he is able to understand the relationship, have the feeling of relationship and fulfill relationship with every human being and with every unit in nature, right, yeah, all three orders. So, that is the fittest thing, and even in nature any unit which fits with all the other units that is ensures the harmony, okay, will continue its tradition. Anything which does not fit in that harmony, that synergy, will die out. That is how the animals, the other trees, they get extinct, because they are not able to ensure the harmony, the synergy with other units in nature.